I'm here with Henry Segerman, who has brought what some people would call a 360 camera.
But
I know
wrong.
you wince whenever someone says that.
Yes.
What would you call this?
I would call this a spherical camera.
And why is that a better name than 360?
Well, 360 is like you've got a circle of things you can see. You've got all this stuff around here, but this sees everything up here and everything down here. It sees the whole sphere.
So there's a fisheye on that side, which sees everything over here.
Right.
There's another fisheye on the other side, which sees everything over there. And I guess from about here, it can
sort of
blend the two.
They go about 190 degrees, and then so they see sort of into each other's hemispheres,
right?
And then they can stitch it
together.
They
can digitally put that together.
Everything wants rectangles of pixels.
Exactly.
And so what it does.
So my camera over there is doing what, 1920 by 1080.
Right.
Nice big old rectangle.
Right. Yeah. And this does 1920 by 960.
Oh!
Slightly shorter.
Right.
Okay, but the reason is that what it does is it unwraps the sphere latitude, longitude, like you would do on the Earth. And so you have, 360 degrees around the equator.
Right,
and then you have 180 up and down. So it's a 2 to 1 rather than what?
Okay, so you peel off the equator and everything else just gets stretched out like a horrible map.
Right.
And as I have noticed, and if we turn it around that way there, you can see there's a little red light blinking on the side there. So this camera is actually recording everything as we speak. And we'll put this footage online as well. We'll have a link in the description. If you want, you can go and watch this entire video from the viewpoint of this camera. So you get everything around us, including the rest of my room, which is not great. Actually, can we cut the standard footage from this, the unwrapped footage, into this video?
Yes, we can.
Okay, shall we do that?
Let's switch.
Okay.
Well,
go. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Right. So we're still. Hey, here we are.
Right.
Okay. So in the middle.
There's your coffee.
Oh my goodness, you're right. Okay. So there's my well. Now that I've been rumbled, I'll bring that into shot. So, and you can see the rest of the room has white walls, which I haven't finished painting. This is basically my spare room that we're in here.
This is an ironing board.
This is an ironing board. Thanks a lot. Okay, and there's a sofa. This is where I relax between takes over there. Window, spare wardrobe, boxes. So basically, I was allowed one room in the house, and so it doubles as the spare room, my studio. And as you can see, this is just a sheet I've suspended from the picture rail at the top of the...
classy.
Yeah, actually, that's a tent pole that I've used to keep it semi-equally spaced. So there you go. But you can see...
This is how the magic is done.
Well, now there's no magic left.
Oh.
But you can see that the very edge stuff is far more stretched out than those of us in the middle.
Right. So back to the unwrapping, when you got up to the North Pole here, or down to the South Pole, things get very stretched out.
Yeah.
But around the equator, that's what we do.
Okay, so the resolution is not great because you've got less than HD to cover every single direction.
You're stretching out over everything.
So stuff in the, like the light switch in the far distance over there is going to be barely...
It's going to be a few pixels.
Okay, so no one's going to be able to see that.
Well.
And that hugely embarrassing stuff over there is thank goodness, right. Probably fine. And so just for completeness though, so if I get my mug, I can orbit. There you are. I'm just going to... that's going to look great, isn't it?
It's going to look very strange.
It's going to look very bizarre.
Well, and when you get out to here, right? So I guess this is the point. So so there's a camera lens over here, and there's one over here, but there isn't one over here, right? So it has to sort of...
So that's
where it's going to be...
That's the digital mess, right? Okay. Can we go back to the normal footage?
All right, sure. Let's do it.
I believe, according to convention, you've got to click your fingers or something like that. Perfect. Right. So now, obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're watching this as a standard video. If we put the spherical footage up separately, people can watch that as spherical footage.
YouTube knows that this is not supposed to be an unwrapped thing like we just did.
Yeah.
That you're supposed to...
So we force that to stay unwrapped.
Right. Yeah. Right. But so if you... Certain browsers, not all of them, you can pull it around on the screen. If it does the unwrapped thing on the other one, then it's because you've got the wrong browser. But the best way to look at it is on your phone, because on the YouTube app on your phone, because the accelerometers on the phone know which way you're looking, so you just look around.
So you can just move it about. If you want to watch the footage from this camera on your phone. You can move it around. You can explore the rest of my room, which frankly is a little impolite, given I've invited you into my house while we're talking. So you can ignore us completely. You can face the other way while we're talking.
Yes.
I believe you got very excited about what you can do with the footage.
Right. So, well, what are the things you do in flat video? Right, because it's called flat video now. Because now.
Oh wow! Oh, okay.
You have to distinguish it. So, well, one of the things you can do is you can zoom into things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. We could zoom in on this footage.
Actually,
right
now that we know that I keep the remote is always over there. Now there are no secrets.
Right.
So I can zoom right there. We are. So I can zoom in and I can zoom out. If I go too far, there's the edges of the sheet. Okay. Wait. Perfect. Okay. Right. There we go. Yeah.
But if you were going to do that, so that was done optically.
Yeah.
Right. Very nice. If you could do it digitally as well,
yeah.
right? And what do? You sort of like take the pixels, you make them bigger.
You just stretch them out.
And then you crop in the.
You lose
the side of your
resolution,
frame.
but yeah.
So, can you do the same thing here? That was the question that interested me.
Well, you can't. If you zoom into one bit of the sphere,
right?
How you're going away from
what's happening over there?
Yeah.
And you can't exactly crop the screen because
you can't. How do you can't crop? There's no edge.
Cropping. There's no edge. Yeah, it just goes all around. This is intended to demonstrate how you get from a spherical thing to a flat thing.
Right. Okay.
For example, your table slash
ironing board.
So for the use of this, I have this torch and/or flashlight, depending on your dialect of British English or American English.
You're bilingual. Very good.
So so this says point light source, and if I put it at the North Pole of the sphere.
You get a perfect grid.
You get, perfect if I hold it in the right place, but yeah.
You get a grid that comes out. That is nice.
So, so what is this doing, right? So this is showing you, oops, there we go. So that the light rays are doing this maps called stereographic projection.
Right.
Which goes from the sphere to the plane, and you see like a light ray hits the sphere somewhere and hits the plane somewhere.
Yep.
And that's the way you get the sphere to turn into the plane.
Okay, yeah, but so every unique point on here
right.
goes up through the sphere to the bulb.
So the idea is, well, let's start with a bunch of like video coming out of that.
Yep.
Should we turn it around so it's...
should we point it at that?
Yeah,
okay, right. Oh, perfect. There we go.
So I got this sphere of data coming from that thing.
Yep.
And then I map it onto the plane.
Yep.
And then I can zoom. Because all I do is I scale this thing again.
So you transform this the grid
flat
here
thing.
and then put it back up onto the sphere.
So let's see. I mean, I can if I lift it up, it actually does it. Well.
Oh, so you So if you lift
there's a trick.
You're
if you
zooming.
lift it up, it's like you're zooming, right? Because it gets bigger, right?
That's so good.
That's all I'm doing, right? So okay, so with some code and whatever.
Yeah.
Take this, put it on the flat plane.
So you use Python code.
I use Python code. It's all.
And you've written that yourself, or that's like an off-the-shelf?
No, it's nothing. At some point, presumably, it will be.
One day it'll be a plug-in for
things,
Final Cut or something, right?
But at the moment,
for now, you got to code it all
yourself. Pack it
yourself.
together, frame by frame, right? Put it onto the plane.
Yep.
Scale it, put it back on, see what happens. Should we see what happens?
Yes.
All right. So let's do it to
this footage.
Right. This footage. So. What should we zoom in on?
So we'll bring that back over here.
Right.
So, actually...
We could zoom in on your face.
Okay, let's zoom in on my face.
All right, let's do it now.
There you are. So in post-production you've done that?
Yeah,
wow, that's creepy. My good, I don't know what it looks like
yeah.
yet, because there's a lot of rendering time.
Right.
And Henry swearing at his Python code before we will have the results.
And look behind you as well. Matt is very close to you now.
Thank you.
And everything else is very far away.
Because you've basically you had to shove the rest of the reality over there somewhere.
Right. You sort of like stretch it out so Matt's face gets bigger,
yeah.
and everything else gets smaller over there. Yeah.
And you can flip things around. Because if you got a sphere, you can rotate the sphere.
Oh yeah, right? Yeah. You can do all of that. Right. I mean, you want to be able to rotate footage without having to actually rotate the camera necessarily. Yeah.
Mathematically, how are you doing these transformations?
Right. So, once you're on the complex plane, the plane, you treat it as the complex plane.
There's a spoiler there, right?
But it was only it was a 2-second spoiler.
Okay, so you project it onto the plane.
Once you're on the plane,
and then you go,
this is complex numbers.
Plane. Right, okay,
so, and then you can, do whatever.
So every pixel or whatever has a little complex.
Every pixel is a complex number. You can scale and rotate, and there's these things called Mobius transformations that are 2x2 complex matrices that do all these things.
Okay, but that's nothing more complicated than multiplying, dividing complex numbers.
Like as it happens, right? I mean, the scaling up is just like if you want to zoom in by a factor of 2, you get the sphere onto the plane, and then
Yep.
you multiply the complex numbers by 2.
And then you put it back on again. That's it. Okay, and you've put your code on GitHub.
Yeah, some of it, yes. It's a bit of a mess.
The
in
bits
places.
you're the least embarrassed by.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
you can get started with some things poking around there.
That's great. Okay, so obviously, if you're into coding or this sort of stuff, you can find Henry on GitHub. You've got a book coming out at some point.
Yes. Visualizing mathematics with 3D printing.
There you are. And that'll be out this October 2016.
October 2016.
Okay, but it's already available for pre-order on Amazon.
Right,
We'll put
lots of things
a
like
link
this.
below. Loads of other ridiculous like this. And we are going to do another video which is only filmed with the spherical, don't call it 360 camera. And so then
we're going to do very strange things.
And we're going to do some strange things to that. We're trying something we don't think other people have ever done before. But we'll give that a go. So do have a look at the other footage. Have a play with it. Make sure you can get it working when you move your phone around. You're going to need that for the next video. Boom.
Okay.
Happy with that?
Yeah.
All right. And just
We hit
because
everything.
I am obsessed with syncing things properly,